Hello and welcome back to the Formula 1 chat. Today we're here for our preview of the British Grand Prix. The Formula 1 season is well and truly underway. We're almost at the summer break now, 3 more rounds until we reach the halfway point. It's been a decent season so far, would you say?
Yeah, I think it's got better as we've gone into the European leg. We've seen some better, more exciting races. Even the North American ones as well, America, Canada, they were good ones. So hopefully that continues on.
Yeah, well, we'll look back at Austria to start then. A really exciting Grand Prix. Obviously, we had the feeder series, which they had produced some really good racing. Then we got the main event. We got the sprint as well, the sprint shootout.
Come on.
And that was all very enjoyable. The Red Bull Ring really does have, create some really good racing, doesn't it?
It does. And it's, you look at the midfield battle the last 2 years now, we've seen a very exciting fight there. We saw, I think it's the closest we've ever seen Max and Checo on track.
In the sprint, and Max actually had to make some overtakes in the race.
Yeah, he did have to make some overtakes in the race. Yeah. Ferrari were more on the pace. They led some laps, which is a huge marker for them.
Indeed.
Back on the podium, so they could, last year Carlos Sainz won here. Yes, Max did pick up damage, a little bit of damage, but, Sainz still had to win. And then we saw the brilliant Leclerc-Perez through goes Hamilton fight. So that could be very interesting. I feel like we're in for a good weekend. Silverstone, usually a very exciting Grand Prix. Last 2 years it's been fascinating.
It has been, and I wanted to pose the question then to start today's episode, thinking about the British Grand Prix. Is Silverstone the best circuit on the calendar? I think it's definitely up there, I have to say.
I think it could be, because not only is it a good track, it's exciting racing, but also the history behind Silverstone and the heritage of the Silverstone circuit definitely has to be up there. I think if you combine all three of those categories, I think it probably is.
Yeah, I think it's one of the only historic tracks which we can actually run at successfully. Because even like Interlagos, we really struggled to run at with the size of the cars. Still a brilliant race, but for me, Silverstone's width helps out massively, because it means despite the fact we keep making the cars bigger, Silverstone's still able to host some really good events. And as we've seen over the last few seasons, it always seems to create drama. So hopefully we see more of that.
It's just a good mix, because you have, you've got the old main straight and the new main straight. You've got the Kemmel straight. There's a lot of wide areas, you say, for overtaking, but you also have the nitty gritty corners, Maggots and Beckett's very, very close.
The tight and the twisty,
exactly. You're not going to get 2 cars through there. Is it Luffield as well?
Try.
Probably won't end well. But there's definitely it's a very exciting circuit.
It is a very good circuit, fast flowing, exciting. But and then a couple more things on Austria then before we get into this weekend. Verstappen looked really good. Verstappen's so consistent, of course, there's no difference there. The Red Bull fight, as you mentioned, Perez actually looked close to him. But then McLaren, we haven't really spoken about them, but they look really good. Well, Norris looked really good in Austria. Obviously, he has got the upgraded car, though, so it makes sense.
So Lando's got the upgraded car going into this weekend. It's his home Grand Prix. He'll want to impress, he'll want to do well. And McLaren, obviously, bringing in the one-off livery, bringing out the chrome.
Because one-off liveries always work in F1, don't they? But I think for me this weekend will be a big proving point as to whether that McLaren is actually quick or whether Norris is just exceptional at the Red Bull Ring and it helped he had a better car.
You can't really compare him to Piastri, as you say, because they're different cars. Piastri hasn't got the upgrades. I think once Piastri gets the upgrades, then maybe you can start to compare their performance and their pace. But for Lando, could be very exciting. Obviously, Piastri could still do something. It's still a racing car at the end of the day. It's hardly rubbish.
Wow.
It is quite... But with the upgrades, Lando looks quick. He's on a good run of form coming out of Austria, which was only a week ago, so it's not like there's been a big gap. And as I said, in that one-off livery at his home Grand Prix, he'll want to impress. Could be an exciting weekend.
Yeah, definitely could be. Moving on then, qualifying these last few rounds, I found that qualifying this season in general actually has been very, very tight, very close. I genuinely couldn't tell you who's going to get knocked out in which session, because if you look at it, it could be anyone from Perez, who seemingly can't get through to Q3
Perez and Russell just keep getting knocked out.
Yeah.
And there's no explanation for it.
Lewis had that difficult sprint shootout, of course, but then even with the bottom 5, and everything that's going to be both AlphaTauris, no AlphaTauris, both Hasses. Oh wait, the Hass are in Q3 now. Yeah. Alfa Romeos.
Sargent's always there.
Sargent's usually there. But
that's a great stat. Logan Sargent is the only driver to not make it out of Q3 this year.
Yeah.
Q1 this year, sorry.
Really impressive for all the other drivers.
That's unheard of, really. To have what race win? Is this the 8th, 9th round?
Got to be 10th by this point.
10th
I think.
round?
Well, it depends because we had so many cancellations now.
But we're less.
It's round 11.
11.
But then, Imola's in there.
So let's just say we're less than halfway through the season, and 19 out of the 20 drivers have got out of Q1 at least once. That's a magnificent achievement. But we speak about the big drivers getting knocked out. The other big driver at the top, very close to each other. Verstappen and Leclerc separated by 400ths.
There wasn't a lot in it.
Now, those 400ths could decide the race on last Sunday. I'm not saying that Leclerc would have won, but I think if the Ferrari had got ahead, or had been, because the way Leclerc was trying to get past him on
maybe could have
one,
Max for a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and it was 2 versus 1. You could have got Sainz involved and get both Ferraris ahead of Verstappen.
Yeah.
Who knows what can happen from there. But
as long as it doesn't rain, which is weird because rain is usually the equaliser, as long as it doesn't rain, they could be close. So obviously,
Ferrari looked good, and obviously from last year, Leclerc and Sainz were quick. Max has got a point to prove because 2 years ago he was put into a wall at Cops, and then last year he picked up damage.
Well, this is the thing. He always seems to get unfortunate.
Same about Silverstone. It's interesting. I mean, hopefully this race as well is uninterrupted. We haven't got idiots running on the track either, like we did last year. That would be great as well. But good race last year.
Well, speaking of idiots, George Russell, if he could not tip Zhou upside down, that would be good.
His home Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton's home Grand Prix.
Yeah.
Quite a few home Grand Prix.
There are a lot of British F1 drivers and a lot of British F1 teams. All but Haas and Ferrari are based in the UK. But yeah, so looking at this year's race then, we'll start with last year's race. We briefly mentioned it there, but obviously we had Max Verstappen running over a bit of debris. That then caused complete carnage because there was then an actual fight for the lead. Carlos Sainz managed to win out. His first race win in Formula 1, he did really well.
That was a big controversial one, wasn't it? Ferrari,
with the Ferraris, yeah.
Leclerc was leading on the old hards, they pitted Sainz on the fresh tyres, and everyone thought, Sainz could protect Leclerc. No, Sainz got past him, pissed it off down the road, and let Leclerc battle Perez and Hamilton.
And then obviously Leclerc, Perez fighting too hard, and through goes Hamilton, and
Brilliant. I mean, Hamilton did really just kind of drive through, and Leclerc and Perez pushed him off track. But if I said that would really ruin the piece of commentary.
It would.
So
it would.
It feels like they're all fighting.
Feels like there's always a piece of iconic commentary with Silverstone recently and Hamilton. It's through goes Hamilton, or Hamilton's punted Max off at Cups.
I mean, if we could stop doing that'd be great.
Would be useful.
What was it? Hopefully this year, Merck can avoid putting another driver in a very high-speed crash, in a very dangerous crash, out of the race.
Maybe. There's a lot to ask, to be fair, of George Russell
driving around. You never know exactly.
But yeah, this year then, how do we expect it to pan out? Who do we expect to be quick? Who do we expect to not be quick?
I mean, Red Bull's nailed on.
Really?
Ferrari, off the back of last weekend and the evidence from last year, you'd like to see them on the pace.
Yeah, I do think that the Red Bull Ring helps them. That is a track they're usually strong at.
I think we said Lando could be up there.
I think the Merc will be up there, I have to say. I know
Especially
they had a tough weekend. But
as they say, the home crowd gives you an extra tense.
It could do that. I mean, Aston Martin, they'll be looking to do well at their home Grand Prix. Obviously, not the greatest fortune. I can't remember their British Grand Prix of the past, which would dictate they've not done a lot.
Well, maybe 2 years, isn't they? A year?
Yeah. No, 2 years. That's their second season, sorry, yeah. So this will be the second.
But I think it could be closer. But it's about. I think it's about getting in front of Max, because even if Leclerc is close to him, but if he's a close second, it's not going to matter come race day. Because it'll be then 20 seconds behind first. If Leclerc or someone can get ahead, that's the way you stop Max Verstappen, and hope Perez is pissing it down in 15th again, like he usually is.
Should we get into some predictions?
Yes.
We'll start, as we always do, on the Saturday with our pole position. No sprint shootout this weekend.
Last year was a sprint, wasn't it, Britain?
It was a sprint, yeah. But no sprint this weekend. Would you have kept Britain as a sprint, or do you think Britain doesn't need a sprint?
I don't think it needs a sprint.
I don't think any track needs a sprint, though, does it?
I think the faster, like Austria, is a very quick track. The lap time's, 1 minute 8, 1 minute 7?
Yeah.
So it's a very quick lap time. I think that makes more sense for a sprint.
Even then, they do the same distance. But, it's sort of got to be the shorter circuits. Because if they did a sprint at Spa, it'd be 3 laps.
Exactly. They are doing a sprint at Spa, aren't they?
They are. I don't know how many laps that is, but that can't be many, can it? Yeah. All right, well, I don't know why they're doing a sprint at Spa, but that's going to be... Yeah, that's going to be like...
But I think Britain's better as well.
10 laps, if that.
Yeah. I think Britain is fine, doesn't really need a sprint. So on the Saturday then... I mean, I've only got one man taking pole.
Is it Sargent?
It's not Logan Sargent.
Did Sargent get out of Q1?
Yeah.
Okay. Bold prediction.
I did tie. What's the word?
Tie. God, where's this going? Alex Albon pole? Wait.
No, I did think about the idea of maybe Lando Norris being up there. Maybe not pole, I think he'd be up there. And then I thought, could Leclerc get pole?
Then you had some common sense.
and then I thought about it properly and went Max Verstappen.
Yeah. I have also not gone for a bold prediction. I've gone for Max Verstappen.
It would take him to mess up his lap.
Yeah.
For someone else to take pole.
Or him to get impeded.
Yeah.
So.
Or Leclerc to put his foot down.
That would be interesting if Leclerc could put his foot down. But for me, Max is most likely to take pole. He just looks really good at the moment. No matter what is thrown at him, he seems to be able to rise above it. So yeah, I will put him on pole.
Right.
First DNF.
I've gone Esteban Ocon.
We should have conversed about this beforehand because they're going to be identical predictions. I'll change one on the fly.
All right. No. I'm going mechanical failure. It's one of those where it's kind of nothing visible, but the team will be on the radio like, stop the car, stop the car, stop the car, stop the car.
You're never going to guess who I went for.
Who?
Wow, it's Logan Sargent.
Why did you DNF him?
Well, it was going to be Ocon, but he just about kept out of the wall.
Right.
And then he drove back on and hit Sargent. No, I think Sargent is washed.
Well, I think if you look at Sargent's track record around Silverstone, last year in F2, he won both races.
Well, this is the thing. He's actually going to be racing for points, but guess who's in 10th? Oh, it's a terrorist. George Russell's there. Sargent's going around his outside, not a cops, at the...
First corner?
Nope. Trying to think, what's the corner called?
Brooklands.
After the thingy straight.
Kemmel.
Down the Kemmel straight, into that corner. Sargent tried to go around the outside. Russell smashed into him.
Luffield.
What's he like? That might be Luffield, yeah. I don't know. This
I can't
corner, turn 15 at Britain. There we go.
Okay,
that one.
Turn 15 at Britain.
Turn 15 at Britain. That one, Sargent will get plastered into the barrier.
We should know our Silverstone corners.
Yeah, I have to say, corner names aren't something I'm very good at remembering.
No.
Fastest lap. Does his name rhyme with Max Verstappen?
No, I've gone Sergio Perez.
Oh, why?
I think he's been on an alternate strategy because he's probably started last. So he'll probably be on quicker tyres than everyone else at the end and enough fuel and probably putting a good lap.
What if Max has 20 seconds, so just pits again and takes the fastest lap?
There you go. You got to take seconds. Might be Max.
I have gone for Max Verstappen fastest lap.
Okay.
I think you'll set it early, and then it's going to be such a great fight that no one else is going to be able to set a fast lap because they're all going to be scrapping.
Yes.
So then, winner. Who is taking home the British Grand Prix?
I really want to put Lando Norris.
Gosh, it did.
It would be brilliant to see that Chrome McLaren at his home Grand Prix slide into P1.
Yeah.
I didn't go Lando Norris. He'll be on the podium though. I went Max Verstappen.
Makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. I really want to put Lando though.
I'm about to shock everyone.
Oh.
I've not gone for Max
Is it Lando
Verstappen.
Norris?
I think...
Oh my God.
The British Grand Prix... It's not... Nobody. Who knows? I think the British Grand Prix always throws up a surprise. It always throws up a bit of bad luck for Max Verstappen. I think he'll be leading. But he will be the unfortunate victim of a safety car.
Oh, what, getting murdered by one? But
brake checks and breaks his wing has to pit. No, safety car will come out. He will not have the gap back to pit, and he knows if he pits, he'll end up behind cars. But guess who does have the gap back? Because there's a little gaggle of 3 cars there. It's Lewis Hamilton in P2. He pits, comes out 4th and drives his way through on the fresh softs against Max's old hards and just carves through. It'll be a titanic scrap. Max trying to hold on to the hards. Lewis trying to get his car turning in a straight line. It's going to be really difficult for both of them. Yeah. And they'll be racing through Maggots and Beckett's and Lewis Hamilton just about there on top.
So they're going to make it through cops side by side?
I think they will.
Wow.
And I think Croft will go, they're going to go through cops and make a big thing of it, and then they'll be fine because they are both mature. And there'll be Max on the inside.
Yeah.
So obviously he won't just drive into him. But yeah, there's some predictions, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed our predictions this week. If you've got some of your own, stick them in the comments below and we will ridicule you if they're bad and we will praise you if they're good. But make them good. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're around here. It massively helps us out. We don't really have a sub goal on this channel, but if you could subscribe, that would massively help us. And then, we may start posting even more on this channel if it keeps doing well. But that's everything for today. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching and we'll see you next time.
See ya.